All right, Mike. Did you know that today is going to be the best live show ever? This
Oh,
Friday.
sweet. Nice. Man, we have so many people.
317.
We have so many people already on. This is so cool. Welcome everybody from all over the place. Antonio from Brazil, Arthur tuning in again. Welcome. Uh First
Yeah.
class sport. That was Carlos coming in. Awesome. Welcome, Carlos. Welcome, Greg. Josh, me and Josh get on ahead of time, obviously, right? I
Yep.
can't get words out of my mouth today. Like, the
hmm
order in which the words are escaping my mouth are just very confused. So if I say things like very
I,
backwards today,
I think it was programming electronics a company was the was the actual mistake.
yeah.
No, we got. I think I'm going to start calling this the community. We got like all the heavy hitters today. Eric,
Yeah, no, this is
Bruce,
great. Yep.
Arthur, Antonio. Good to see
Start
everyone.
Starting a little bit early as usual. Awesome. Gervin Rokel, welcome. Eric, welcome from Minneapolis. Nice.
Holland. Oh, that's awesome.
Greg is here. Welcome. We have Sani from Nigeria. Welcome. LED Lady from Canada. A snow day for me. Nice.
Mm.
I like snow days are great. Snow days can be great. You know what I'm saying?
For a hobbyist, isn't a snow day like the perfect opportunity?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, right.
And
It
any
can
day
be
is a good
good.
opportunity right now.
Right, right. Um,
I'm curious where in Canada, LED lady. That's awesome. I used to live in Alberta, Calgary, Alberta,
nice.
Atlanta, Georgia, Grick, Portugal,
Ripples in
Fernando.
here. Awesome. Man, just a ton of people tuning in. Very cool to have so many people online today.
Mike, did we cover this Arduino Nano RP 2040? I don't think that was in the Nano video that we brought up.
No, I think we did. I think that was in the Nano video.
The RP.
Yeah. Um, I wanna get inspired too. Like, I love that question, Ramani, because, that Arduino Nano RP2040 is pretty cool.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, we could totally talk about that a little bit. It's like so it is I'm pretty sure it's in that Nano video, Josh.
Is it okay?
Yeah,
That could
it's
be.
so the RP2040 is a microcontroller that Raspberry Pi made, and then Arduino took that microcontroller, put it on a nano form factor,
Hmm.
and then a they added wireless ability with I think it's called a U-Blocks is the name of it, which is essentially like an ESP. It's like an ESP32,
Okay.
but they've done some stuff so you can like have an internet connection with this RP20 or 2040, I think. I have one. I haven't really played around with it too much, but one thing that I know, it's got a lot of processing power, and I think it comes integrated with some like artificial intelligence like library type stuff that you can kind of get up and running on it. And
Oh,
I
okay.
want to say that one has a microphone on it too, which is pretty cool because you can one of the AI applications is where you get it to hear it can recognize like a word. You know, there's a word for this word I'm
Oh,
trying to
yeah. I think I know what you're talking
an
about.
awake word. You know how Alexa has an awake word? You say like Alexa or whatever. You can train it on a different awake words and stuff like that. But it has a built-in. I think it has the built-in microphone. I'd have
Okay.
to.
Yeah. Um, I just put in our Nano video in the chat for anyone who's curious. It doesn't
Okay.
it doesn't go. It just covers like a lot of different of the Nano boards. It doesn't do like specific projects, which is what Darp was specifically asking. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely a helpful resource.
Yeah, and what Dart mentioned though is he says he is playing around with machine learning, and I think it's a good
Oh yeah.
I think it's a good platform to play around with. I have also like so the extent I've done on Arduino with machine learning is they had a which one? I think I did it with the Nano BLE Sense 33, which also has it's a lot like the RP2040 as far as like the sensors it has on board, I think.
Hmm.
And it's cool because you can download there's a library you can download TensorFlow, which if you don't know, does TensorFlow mean anything to you,
No, I've heard
Josh? All right,
the
okay.
term, but I don't know.
So in this whole like machine learning world,
Hmm.
there's these different like these different tools you can use to like design these deep learning systems.
Okay.
At least specifically for deep learning, not just machine learning, but deep learning specifically. And one of those tools is called TensorFlow, and it's like I guess I'm going to call it a library for lack of maybe framework would be better.
Okay.
But TensorFlow, if I'm not mistaken, was developed by Google. Anyway, they have a TensorFlow Lite that has been ported, which basically means like you can take it and you can load it up. It's been designed for like Arduino boards
Really? Okay.
that have more space on them. I don't think you can fit like TensorFlow Lite on a Uno or anything,
Hmm.
but yeah, anyway, so those I don't know, those are be fun. Just those example ones, and the one I played around with was just the example one that came with the Nano board,
Yeah.
like just like the canned example or whatever. But
Yeah. Yeah. People are talking about machine learning and just looking here. Does have a PDM microphone. Juan, hi from Mexico. Yeah. This I don't know if this is related or not, but do we have any videos on the Academy for IO modules, PCF 8575 specifically? I don't know.
no, I don't think on the PEA, I don't think on that one. No,
And that's
which
IO
give
is just like input output modules.
yeah, yeah, that's right. I should probably know what the Papa Charlie Foxtrot, whatever that number was, 88575. I'm not sure exactly what that. I should
Okay.
probably know that off the top of my head, but I don't know.
Yeah, no worries.
Um, but
We got a lot of people talking about the weather. I'm here in Minnesota too. It sounds like we have like 4 people who are navigating this the winter here. It's super sunny today and it's like relatively warm. So all us
oh, that's nice.
Minnesotans are like, okay, we can handle this. We're almost past the worst of it.
Nice. Yeah, it's definitely this time of year where I feel like Midwesterner folks start kind of like getting a little
Okay,
sensitive.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Here we go.
Well, I guess to say it's actually past that time.
Oh yeah.
Welcome everybody. If this is your first time here, I'm so happy that you're here. If you don't know me, my name is Mike Chage. I'm the owner of Programming Electronics Academy. And Programming Electronics Academy, if you didn't know, is an online education company. And what we're trying to do is help people program Arduino with confidence and just get familiar with like this whole Arduino ecosystem. I'm joined here today with Josh Gilbert. He is our video producer extraordinaire. Josh, welcome.
Yep. Well,
And
every time you've said a video extraordinaire, I kind of laugh a little, but I guess that's kind of what I do. I do the video
straight
stuff.
up, man. Yeah, hardcore.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
So what we do every Friday is we just kind of hang out and we talk about electronics and programming stuff.
Mhm.
We don't always have an agenda. Usually we just have a couple talking points maybe that we might kind of touch on. And then we just kind of go where the chat leads us and just talk about different random things. So it's pretty unstructured. Feel free to ask questions. Generally, we don't get too technical. I don't know. Maybe we do. Anyway, if you
Sometimes,
ask
yeah.
super technical questions, we may or may not try to dive into them. But again,
Yep.
just kind of checking out, hanging out, talking about different stuff. So
Yeah, last week was like, okay, maybe we can make this more beginner friendly and less technical, and then we spend like 20 minutes on debugging. It's like,
yeah, I know. I think we spent more like 30 or
was
40
it?
minutes talking
Yeah,
about the debugger. Yeah,
right.
that was definitely more technical than so maybe it's like we just do the opposite of what we say we're gonna do, man. I don't know.
It's so funny. As we're saying that, Juan just asked a question unprompted about debugging.
That's
Have
so
you found
funny.
anything useful? That's funny. Yeah. I don't know if there'd be anything in the last week's video, Juan, but you can go see because we did do like 30 minutes on debugging there.
Yeah, we did. So yeah, the last week's live show. So if you go to our channel on YouTube and then you go to live stream,
Mhm.
that's where you can see all our previous live streams. And so last week's might be helpful. And I think it's even marked as like debugging. So that might be something to
Yeah.
help too.
Yeah. I put a
But
link. We talked about the membership and the YouTube channel. So I put links to both those in the chat for anyone
okay,
who's
sweet.
curious. But
Yeah. Okay. So Ian was saying that is it sounds like it's a port extender. Uh
okay.
16 additional IOs use I2C communication. Yeah. Um, yeah, that one right there. No, we don't have anything about that port extender. But I think it's a great recommendation because I know a lot of people use them. They're super handy.
Cool.
If I follow right, Ian, I think that's what you're talking about. Looks like Dennis is coming in from the Philippines. Welcome. We've got Burner Master from Massachusetts here. Welcome. Pascal Topka Tokpa from London. Welcome, man. A ton of people coming in.
Mhm.
Awesome. Um,
It
let's see.
really is fun. I mean, we've been doing this for like 12 weeks now, Mike, and every week there are a bunch of people that keep coming back. Like, so that it's fun, like seeing a lot of these people and kind of developing a rapport with the community. Obviously, I don't know if we said it this week, but the show is sort of designed to be anything that sparks curiosity in this world of programming, for makers and hobbyists. I have very little experience with this. It's just my experience kind of working with the company and doing video production stuff. But Mike has a little bit more background, kind of just experience working with this sort of thing. And it's really an interesting thing. And getting to talk about it weekly has been a blast for me. I'm having a great time.
That's good, man. Yeah, no, it's been fun. It's fun to see all these people tune in. Warren's here. Welcome. Astromanian from UK. Welcome. Great to have everybody here. So, okay. You knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
I was going to talk about this. Well, they just released ChatGPT4. Well, they didn't just release it. They announced that they were going to release it. And I know if anybody knows me or they've been watching these shows, I kind of like, this stuff I find fascinating. These large language models. And yeah, so they just released ChatGPT4. And like, if you thought the last ChatGPT was cool, wait till you see this one. It's kind of like, I don't know. Remember, I think the phrase that we came up with last time, Josh, when we were talking about it, is there's these jaw-dropping moments when you're using these technologies. You're just
Absolutely.
like, I can't believe it just did that. You're just like, kind of thing. And I've been seeing that, like when I show people this stuff, you know what I mean? I see that. I kind of wait to see like what I see them put in an input, get a response back, and they're always like, wow, I can't believe that response, right? Well, I watched the intro video to this when they were demoing it to developers. This was like last week. And I was just like mind blown, man. So because what you can do now is you can not only can you ask it questions like textual questions, but you can also upload an image, and you can use the image as part of the discussion. So you might upload an image and be like, hey, tell me about this image. You know what I mean? And like, so then supposedly, it can kind of like decompose that image and like understand some of the concepts taking place.
That is just in concept. That is incredible. Like, what, you throw out a picture of like some event in history and it will just tell you what the event is or something?
Ooh, well, I mean, dude, all I'm saying is it's pretty, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. I mean, that would be one example. That's interesting. Like, hey, tell me when this event happened. I don't know. I mean, if it was a famous event, I would imagine it could, but like, I'm just saying like, real-time images. So I know last week I talked about, well, I don't know if people know, I've been working on my own ChatGPT project, right? Trying to, because so here's what's exciting to me about Arduino, man, is that it seems to me like nowadays, as in like, today, I can get really cutting edge stuff and use it as like a hobbyist. You know what I'm saying? Like, as opposed to when I was a kid, let's say 30 years ago, when I was young, I think it would have been much harder for me to do that. Like, it would have been much harder for me to get a sensor that was being used in like some commercial product, get that sensor, and then integrate it into my own hobbyist project. I think there's a huge difference between today and 30 years ago. Maybe today and 20 years ago, and maybe even today and like 12 years ago. I feel like there's just this huge difference. Okay. And that, to me, it's like being able to like just, oh, I want to do this, 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 and this. Find libraries for these different things. Order sensors for like freaking dirt cheap. Get them to arrive the next day, and then piece together something that kind of like works. To me, is just, it's mind blowing, man. Like, how is this possible? I just feel like it gives me, I don't know. I feel like I've got, I don't know. I feel very empowered to build stuff. I'm not saying like it's always easy, but I'm saying it's a lot easier than it used to be. Okay. So What I want to do is, so like what I really want to do is, so, you know, we were talking about hardware and stuff, right? Integrating hardware. Well, now we've got these like tools that are AI tools,
Mm-hmm.
and you might think of them as in intelligence as a service. You know, you've probably heard of software as a service, SaaS.
Yep.
I don't know if you've heard that term
Yes.
before.
Yep.
Okay, well, you know, they talk about it as like intelligence as a service, right? And so you've got some third party, like for example, OpenAI,
Mm-hmm.
okay? They've developed some really cool technology, and then you can use their technology like as a service. All right. So
Yeah.
what I want to try to do is uh integrate that into, like, make that as easy as possible to use just like as a hobbyist. Like take that intelligence and then integrate it into something.
Yes.
So if you've been like following along, I've been working on this. There we go. It is this Chat
Oh, you got it.
GP
You got it
Twino,
on an
right?
arm. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh, didn't I? I think I had it on an arm last time. Anyway,
That's great.
you can. Steve says you can rent my intelligence. Nice. All right. I need to rent some people's
That's
intelligence. Man, if
amazing.
you can see all the errors I've made with
Send him
it.
an email. Yeah, that's great.
I know. I know. I know.
I don't think
Anyway,
you had it on an arm, Mike. That's impressive. It's just
oh, did you?
floating in
No,
the.
okay. Well, here it is on an arm. Um,
For those of us who don't know what are we looking at?
Okay, so what this is, well, this is a little cutout from a laser engraver. This is it was really fun to do. I got a laser engraver from a company, and it was fun to use. Anyway, this is the first time I used it. This is like a piece of bamboo. Okay, well, that's just what it looks like. All right, this is an OLED screen right here,
Yep.
and then on the back side, I'll just take it off there real quick. I got everything hooked up here. Let's see. Give me a second.
Keeping it clean with some sponges and.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I know. I like, this is my sponge to like hold it in place. It's funny is I didn't do this thing for like the live show. I have this right next to my computer, so as I'm like testing it and debugging it, like I
It's
can
just
look
right there.
right at it. You know what I'm
That's really
saying?
nice. Yeah.
So this isn't a setup for the show. This is like my working on this
Right.
project setup. Okay, so then on the back side, I just have a ESP32 that is an unexpected maker board. It's an ESP32S2.
Okay.
There's a bunch of different ESP32 versions. Not a bunch of different. There's like ESP32, the original. There's an S2. There's an S3. There might be some other ones. Anyway, this is a USB connector, or actually, this is the USB connector, but then this goes from PS2 keyboard to USB. So I've got a keyboard.
Yep.
Connected to it. Again, for everybody who's already seen this, my apologies. I know I'm kind of rehashing here, but anyway, okay. So, and then, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Okay. So,
yeah. I just love the art side of it. Like the first time you showed me that, just that you have.
oh,
this
you
laser
like that?
engraver.
All right. Yeah.
ChatGPT4, ask me a question with the little company logo next to it.
I know. It's funny because I'm not so great at the art side. I kind of wish I was a little bit better, like you say, growth mindset, man. Maybe
Right.
I'll get better at it. But
Look at that. Yeah.
Anyway, because it didn't, I still got some work to do. Anyway, oh, Greg asked what the ESP32 is mounted to. I love, I gotta tell you, there are these proto shields. I think it's called a proto shield, proto board.
Okay.
And it's laid out exactly like a solderless breadboard.
Yeah.
So that the connection. So if you think of a solderless breadboard, you know what? Maybe I can pull one up real quick, just to show it off here. Let's see here. Don't share my screen quite yet till I get it up, Josh.
Good. You got people
but
making
it's
riffs
like
here
a
that
Proto Shield Arduino. I've just absolutely been loving them. And there's okay, here we go.
it's mounted on the carcass of trees. That's great. you got some humor going on in the chat today.
Okay, let's see here. Yeah, is that now? Okay, so this is kind of like it. Yeah, these aren't quite. this isn't the kind I have. You can share my screen now, Josh.
Okay.
Okay, so
I see.
these are like these proto shields, I guess is what you'd call them, right? And so that's
Mhm.
what I've got it mounted to. I actually I think I put some like header receivers on there, and then I put the Nano in there.
Okay.
So I didn't solder the Nano on. I just soldered like headers on there, and then I just plugged the Nano in. But the one I have, all of these leads are soldered together.
Yeah.
I don't know if people can see that, but anyway, yeah. So they're all soldered together, just like a breadboard. Anyway, I got to tell you, it's I love them. I really when I make projects, that's what I kind of do. I've been using these more and more
Yeah.
because they fit a board really well or whatever. But yeah, man. So I've been working on this project, and so anyway, yeah. So I'm really interested in ChatGPT4. And last time I think I talked, this was connected to a different
Yeah.
API. Well, now it's connected to ChatGPT 3.5.
Mhm.
And now I'm trying to get it. Now, I mean, the future will be now getting it connected to ChatGPT4. But for the meantime, I'm pretty happy. But man, talk about like needing to borrow Steve's intelligence, because I'm seriously, man, it's easy to make errors.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep on that.
Well, that's kind of part of the whole thing, right? It's like making errors and like learning to fail quickly and fixing issues and looking on online forums. I don't know, Mike, if you want to check, there's definitely some good questions here. I'm curious which way you'd want to go.
Cool. Jezza just showed up. Welcome, Jezza. Great to have you here.
Awesome.
Yeah, let's see. Tree carcasses. That's all I can think about right now.
No, that's so good.
Let's see. Sponge would be great for soak testing. Nice. All right. Oh, geez. Yeah, I don't know, man. Let's see. Skeeve asked, is there a good place to buy those different chips and stuff? Here I can. I mean, there's tons of different places. A lot of it depends on where you're living and how, like, if you're in the US, they've got like Adafruit, Spark Fun, and then there's bigger suppliers like DigiKey or Mauser or Newark. And then I think if you're in Europe or like, I just don't know too many of the suppliers. I want to say Europe, Newark is pretty big, so you can use Newark, or I'm sure DigiKey delivers there. But those are kind of the places I go. And even like a lot of stuff you can get on Amazon. That's one option, or even eBay sometimes you can get some stuff.
Cool.
But yeah. Lightburn will help with the laser cutting. Ian mentioned that. Yeah, that's the program that I'm using, Lightburn. This is one thing I wanted to talk about. Okay. So I think you could draw a graph of my attitude towards new tools. I don't think we talked about this last week. All right.
Okay.
So you could take my attitude, like either like my valence, either like or dislike.
Yep.
And then you could graph it against time. Like, how much time have I actually used it, or effort have I put into using it?
Yep.
When T is 0,
Yeah.
I will be like, this tool sucks. Okay. When I have done nothing to use the tool, I'll be like, this tool, it gets miserable. It doesn't work like I want it. Right. Because I have put 0 effort into trying to figure it out. And then when I use the tool more, then I'm like, oh, wait a second. Oh, this tool is really cool. Oh, that's how you do that. Wow, this is great. Right. And so the more effort I put into it, then I'm like, oh, wow, this is great. And then as I get to use the tool more and more and more, and I start to realize, like, okay, these are its limits. These are maybe that kind of that valence goes down a little bit more, but it doesn't bottom out. Right.
Yep.
And it's totally, I mean, some tools are better than others, obviously, but I bring this up because Lightburn, first turn I turned it on. It's a software for doing laser cutting.
Is it like a CAD software?
Yeah, it's
or
yeah, I would say it's CAD. I don't know.
Or like
Ian
3D
should
printing in
school
a
us
way?
on that. Like, I'm
Okay.
not into, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's a tool where, yeah, I would call it like a 2D CAD. I think that makes sense. I mean, computer aided design, you can like pull in pictures and then it will cut those pictures out based on the spacing and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I think it's specifically, yeah, I mean, Lightburn, yeah, it's got to be specific for laser cutters, right? I would assume. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I was like, first time used it, what's going on? I don't understand it. This software is, and then it's like I use it a couple times. I'm like, oh, actually, this is
Yeah.
pretty stinking amazing.
Kind of like judging a book by its cover. It's like, what is this? And then yeah, your brain gets used to it. And you're like, okay, I can see that the application here.
Yeah, because tools can be complicated, especially technical tools. And so I think it can be worth time. It can be worth the time to invest in getting to know some of the tools if you think you're going to be using it a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, Mike Jones, he said, CAD, it's cool. CAD is hard. I think
Yeah.
it is. I think what happens often is I underestimate the difficulty of things. Maybe what it is I overestimate my own aptitude. Josh, I'm like, CAD, yeah, I got that.
Right.
Like, yeah, nuclear science. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, you got that.
Hand it to me. Yeah, I'll get this reactor working.
Yeah. That's great. I actually messed around with for one of the videos I messed around with Tinkercad for the first time, and I've really never worked in a CAD design. I may have done something in high school for a course once, but I mean, just any interface that you're learning, you kind of have to, like, your brain and your eyes have to like get accustomed to what is actually happening. It just takes time. Like, you just have to push through that stage of, what is this tool? What does that little thing in the corner actually do if I click it? Like, kind of have to develop the capacity to just like push through,
I know. Well, I like you're right. The capacity to push through. So let me see. I don't know if I have that document open. Oh yeah, here's one. I'll share my screen again. Okay, so this is a software I've been using a lot lately. It's called ArduinoJson. And what it does is it takes it can like take your data and then basically turn it into like a JSON format, and then you can send it off to like an API. So for example, I'm using this for ChatGPT like all the time, right? So I'm using this, and it's like a really powerful Arduino library.
Yep.
And I'm used to like it's a really powerful Arduino library, but my expectations for Arduino libraries is like I don't use heavy hitters all the time necessarily. Like like let's say you just use a library to like read a temperature from some digital temperature sensor or something like that. I mean, those are going to be a lot easier because it's like read, there's like two functions, read the temperature and like, begin reading or something like that. So it's like not that hard. You know what I'm saying? So I think maybe I had these expectations built up. Anyway, I was like, I was really having a hard time figuring out ArduinoJson. But the more time I spent with it, the more I was like, wow, this is such a cool, tool. And I realized in the process that I was trying to do things manually, that this tool was like automating for me, and so I was able to get rid of a bunch of steps I was doing once I realized like, wait, why am I trying to do this when it's doing that for me,
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah. Read the directions after you've learned how to use it. That's exactly right.
I know. Who has time for reading direction? I mean,
Right. Just go for it. Yeah.
I know. Well, it's hard because like you just want to jump in and do stuff. You know what I mean? You want to jump in and do stuff. I mean, so where I do usually start, I'll give myself a little break here. Where I usually start is I go to the examples in a library. And I know I've said this like a million times, but it's worth saying a million plus one times.
Nice.
Is like if you were trying to use a new Arduino library, usually most libraries ship with examples. You just open up the example code that comes with the library, and you check out the simplest thing they're doing and try to like extract from that. So I spent a lot of time though in the ArduinoJSON going through those examples because there's just a lot of different use cases. So, but yeah, I don't know. All right. Well, here I will change so I want to change subjects here first a little bit, show you this video. So I think I mentioned I'm helping out my daughter's in this BattleBots thing at
Oh,
her
nice.
school. Yeah. And so we're finally at the stage where we kind of got something put together,
Mhm.
for this BattleBot. And the BattleBot is not it's not programmed at all. It's just using a receiver. It's got some motors on there, and you know what I mean? Like, there's
Yep,
no
yep.
Arduino programming taking place here, but I just thought I'd show this video. I
Oh,
don't
that's so
know.
fun.
Let me
This is at the
see.
high school?
It's junior high.
Okay. Oh, that's right.
Let's see if we can. There we go. So nothing too, exciting. And that thing on the front is a weapon. And I know it looks crazy right now. It's because it's still very much in prototyping phase.
Yeah.
Um,
What's
and
the
we just
weapon?
wanted to keep the electronics out of the weapon right there because that's the weapon that spins. But that's been fun working on it. But
Oh, that's
just
so cool.
like uh working with kids can be a lot of fun, but I feel like until things get super interesting, sometimes it's hard for kids to keep focused and stuff like that.
Yep.
So when you
Yeah.
can actually get all the pieces together and get something moving, like the last time we met, all the kids were just super excited and pumped.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to drive the machine. Everybody wanted to power up,
Oh,
and
that's
it
so
was
fun.
just like the
Right.
it's I don't know. Oh, so much more fun
It
when we've got something
right, because
moving.
like if you're young enough, you just see it's like this everything is magic, right? You look down and there's all these like toys that do all these things at Target, and you're like, hey, I actually made this. And they're like, I don't know what that means. I can get this at Target. But like to understand that you can actually have a meaningful impact and you can actually build these things your own. I wonder like at what age that sort of thing starts to clue in. It's like, oh, my dad actually like built this in like a software way. Like he programmed this.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. It is interesting. When that clicks for different kids, it's probably different ages for, different people or whatever.
Yeah.
But part of this whole BattleBots thing in their high school is they're trying to because it's not a national competition, it's like a regional one. And
Okay.
there's actually manufacturers in our area sponsor it because they're just trying to get more young people into manufacturing.
Mhm.
Um, which is interesting. It's not like and when I say manufacturing, it's not like software, you know what I mean? It's like these are like hardcore manufacturers, in the area. So
Okay.
like getting people into machining and
Mhm.
that type of stuff. So, but it's been pretty cool. So, uh the teacher who organizes this, he reached out to a machine shop and had some of those folks come this past week too, and that was so cool because I'm not like a you know uh, what's the word I want? Us mechanical engineer or any, you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
don't really know about any about like the the real the skills behind that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Sure.
one thing to like
Yeah.
build a chassis that's like a box. It's another thing to like understand the different forces that are going to be placed on that
Yeah.
box when it gets hit by some weapon.
Yeah.
And to have that the machinist there to kind of like talk through like, okay, like these are the different forces that might be acting on it and this and
Yeah.
that. It was like I was like down here and then they're
Yeah.
talking way up here. I'm like, oh wow.
Right.
I was like,
Well, that's like a whole different domain from what
yeah.
you do, right?
Oh man.
Totally different. Yeah.
Really cool though. It was just so much fun. So I think it's gonna be pretty sweet.
Mhm.
I'm excited to see it come together. I don't know.
Right.
Here, let's see. I had something else I wanted to show. Um, can share my screen again. Here we go. This is from last week. I don't know. Last week we were talking about organization.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, we were talking about organization last week, and I pulled out my bucket of chaos, or
Mhm.
whatever. But I feel much more organized than I have in the past. But Arthur sent in some pictures of his shop, or not his shop, I guess, his lab, whatever you want
Is
to
it
call it.
yeah.
So this is like, where he's got kind of things organized. And I've got a somewhat similar setup. I've got open bins as opposed to closed ones, but
Yeah.
I love it. It's like you've got
Oh,
the
yeah.
You know, I've got like the wires, stuff like that. Nice. I like the magnet, nice, easy access to the tools you need. And then like this stuff's great, you know,
Yeah.
especially when you kind of know what's in what. They can just be so helpful to be able to get something and find it.
Yeah.
Uh,
This actually brings up a good point. Something that I've been thinking about, because I'm in this world just indirectly, but I've thought about like diving more into it myself. Kind of a barrier to entry is looking at all of those things and knowing that I essentially have none of it. Like I have one Arduino Rev 3 and a programming electronics kit on a shield. So I have a shield and then 2 printer cables, and that's literally all that I have. And so I've thought about like buying the kits, to get started that way, but there's just so much here. It's like I don't know, how do you even get started? Like I want all of
yeah.
those tools, I want the organizational bins.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
see. Okay. Well, if you're just getting started, and this would be advice to anybody out there who's just getting started, is you don't need to like dive in. Like,
Yeah,
it's all just, so with any hobby, like you just kind of slowly go into it.
sure.
Arthur clearly he's become one of us a dick. We're an addict, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
this cool thing, that cool. You know what I mean? Like,
Uh,
and you just start to acquire stuff over time. I feel like that's probably the best way to go about it is just acquire stuff over time. And honestly, the kit on a shield is not a bad place. Like literally with your Arduino Uno and that kit on a shield, you can do a lot. Like you can learn the programming. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Like if you want to learn the programming, right? If you want to start building different stuff, then I think those kits aren't a bad idea. Because what's nice about a lot of the kits is they come with a box already. So that gives you a little sense of organization. You know what I mean?
yep.
But
Um, I'm just gonna find
oh, there it is.
the
Yeah,
link
kit on a shield here.
the link here. Someone was asking for what it was.
Okay. Well,
This
here,
is
we can show it off. It's a circuit board that we sell, but it's basically just you can find it on Amazon or on our website. But it's got buttons into it's just like it's a shield, an Arduino shield fits on top of the Arduino Uno form factor, and then it just has different stuff built into it, like buttons, piezo buzzers, potentiometers, like kind of like all the usual suspects, when you're starting to get programming. So the idea is like you're not messing with a breadboard.
Yeah,
So I kind of recommend it for people who might already kind of be familiar with some of the electronic stuff, because I personally think that like building breadboard circuits is really, really helpful if you're just getting into electronics. And this abstracts away all of that breadboard building, right? Because
yeah.
you have everything's already connected. You don't have to connect something to ground and power, and
Mhm.
you don't have to figure out what pin it goes to. It just, it tells you. So that experience though of figuring that out is like to me pretty crucial to the learning experience of like basic electronics or digital electronics. So
Yeah.
um
Dang.
anyway, but yeah, so if you wanted to learn the programming side, Josh, you have all the stuff you need right there.
Right. Yep.
Um, that being said, like to keep yourself on the programming side, sometimes you need like cool little projects to make. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To get excited about, just
Yep.
like when those kids put together the robot and actually got the weapon to move and all that type of stuff,
Yep.
like they were all pumped. And I feel like to me, that's the other side of it. I know Ian mentioned the Elegu starter kit. That's a really common one. You can find those on Amazon.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah. So I know it is a lot of stuff, man.
Right. Well, it's really exciting, and in a lot of ways, like if I had the time and the finances, I would totally love to dive into something like this. To me, this looks like this kind of looks like Zen in a way. Like you get into your space and you just like let your mind go, and you have all this in front of you. It just seems like it's kind of like in the most constructive, positive way. It's like a really beautiful type of a man cave where it's like this is just your zone to go and enjoy something like really fun and be creative, but it's totally like interesting and curious. I love it.
Yeah.
Also, can we like intuit what Arthur's working on here? It looks like there's a little breadboard and
Oh yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure. Tell me if I'm wrong, Arthur. I don't know if Arthur's still on. I think that is a Dr. Duino. These are some Dr. Duino shields, which is a common Arduino shield out there that you can use for prototyping different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his oscilloscope up here. Yeah, I mean, looks like he's, just working on some circuits here. I really want to get one of these boards. See how he's got this board right here? That's pretty cool. Like, ooh, look at that PEA sticker. Awesome.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
Here, Arthur is here. I'm also involved in automotive electronics programming, like using Hall effect sensor temp sensors, trying to simulate automotive components.
Nice. Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. Interfacing with vehicles and stuff. That's pretty cool.
Here's a question. I bought a kit on a shield, but having trouble finding good information on how to use it. You got an answer for that, Mike?
Oh, no, absolutely. Yeah. If you go to our, I think actually on the back of the board, there's a URL, and I think it says, I think on the back of the board, I think it, I can check the URL real quick, but let's see. I think it's like learn, maybe. I can't remember what the URL is. I can, yeah, there we go. Okay. So if you go to that URL on the back of the shield, we've got kind of like a how-to video of how to use it. It also comes with all the code samples that you can download it. It's got like the schematic or the pinout diagram, you know, you can kind of see the different pins that are on it and stuff like that. And then it's got a reference for all the different pins. So yeah, I think that's probably the best resource right there.
Yeah.
And then it's just kind of, and hopefully this will be the most useful place to start. But really, it's mostly kind of thinking like, okay, I need something that has a button, or like I need a button. I'm trying to play around with a button, or I'm trying to play around with an LED. It's like, okay, hey, I got a button right here. What pin is it on? Okay, that pin number is what I can use for the button.
Yep.
Okay, I need an LED. All right, I've got 8 to choose from. Which one do I want? Okay, this is the pin number associated with the LED.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the idea.
Yeah, and hopefully we have some videos we're working on that are basically walkthroughs of each component on the shield board that we'll be putting out at some point.
Yeah, for the
Protojo.
for the Protojo book.
Right.
Yeah, no, that'll be good.
Cool.
Cool.
I appreciate all the encouragement. People, like even Ian said, I started my process last Christmas. Can't believe how much stuff I've ended up getting in a year. That's I have plenty of hobbies that I throw money and time at. So I'm sure if like any of those shifted, like there's plenty of space to include something more like this. Morning Mystic Silver Thread.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. There's hobbies. I tell you, man. It can be hard to fit everything. There's just so much cool stuff, you know what I mean? It's hard to fit it all in. So
totally.
I don't know. But yeah, so those are kind of the things that I've been working on. That ChatGPT robot a lot, or that project, I've been spending a lot of time on that.
Yeah.
And I have been having to buy a bunch of components for it. Speaking of buying components, we released that ChatGPT video with the Arduino, and somebody in the comments of that video mentioned that they used a voice synthesizer. So I bought one.
Oh, nice.
Oh my gosh. I think it was like $18 or something like that.
Nice.
Okay. And then it's made by DF Robot, and all you have to do, you just plug it in, man. I mean, there's just like 4 pins.
Yep.
You connect it up, you send it an array of characters, and it will speak it. It'll speak it, and it sounds not too bad.
No way.
And it has an integrated speaker. So you don't even have to get a speaker. It's like, I don't know. There we go. Like the speaker's built right into it. Now,
so wait, is it doing? It's obviously, I'm guessing English, and is it like a certain accent or dialect? Like what?
Yeah, it's a Chinese lady speaking English, which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
But so it's not like, in some of the words, I mean, like, I guess the way language is broken down is when it's spoken is something called phonemes or something like that. Like the unit of pronunciation is called a phoneme, and it's like a 2 to 3 letter unit, like th, th. You know what I mean? Or anyway, so these synthesizer programs, like they break down words into phonemes and then they basically pronounce each phoneme, you know, one after another. I think, I mean, I don't know how these voice synthesizer programs work. I just know that I was able to download a library. Well, funny thing here, right? We're talking about like how easy it is to pull these things together. It's never just that easy. I think Jared, I don't know if Jared's on the call, Jared Diggers, he had mentioned this. It's never just that easy. You know, there's always some weird thing that like, wait, why isn't this working? And then you realize, oh, well, in this case, on their website, oh, in the Arduino IDE, when I downloaded the library from the IDE, the DF Robot had not updated the library. But when you go to the product page and you go to their GitHub, they had an updated library. So like it wasn't working. I'm like, oh man, this is just a bunch of trash, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Do a little more research. I'm like, okay, they have an updated library. And that, you know, it's like I had to read around on the comments on the product website and that kind of thing. But yeah, so it's pretty cool. So what I want to do is add this to the ChatGPT so I can get it to talk the answers back instead of having to read it back. But
yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Mike, do you want to check out a student project?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Cool.
Oh, you know what would be a fun one? If you scroll down like 2 rows, Josh, there's an RV camper van. Yeah, do you see that RV camper van? Middle, it's in the middle right there. Actually go up, it says RV. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, check this one out. I think there's a video with this one. Let me see. Yeah, nice. Check out this video. I think he used a drone to shoot this. So him and his wife, they are touring in this van, and basically what he did is he like ripped everything out on the inside and put in all this different stuff. I guess this doesn't really show off the project very much, but
I'm like, yeah, I'm like, wait, he made a van with Arduino?
No, he's got all this electronics in it and stuff like that. And so his project was working on like, he built this cooling rack in there for some of the electronics. And then he's got this like panel that reports the temperature and different stuff like that. So, okay, I guess this is more of the van video.
Well, it looks,
anyway, I like the van. It's a cool van. Anyway, yeah. So he's got like a bunch of different electronics in there, and he wanted to build like a cooling rack basically, or something that like measured the temperature. And so yeah, if you keep scrolling, yeah. Anyway, he was doing a bunch of prototyping, and then he's got it set up. Yeah, there you go. So then you can basically, he's like transmitting the temperature and the voltage of these batteries to his dashboard so he can monitor it as they drive and stuff. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Mike said mobile man cave. That's funny.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. Okay.
I know. So that was,
to me, this is a perfect example of the utility of exploring this world, right? Like turning these skills and these things that you're learning into something practical, like parts of your mobile van being like specified to you, uniquely usable for you. That's really cool. That's special.
Yeah, I know. And that, I feel like that's where, at least for me, that's where I feel like this hobby of programming and electronics, I'll call it a hobby because like it's really applicable in a lot of different domains. You know, you can really use it a lot. Not to say that other hobbies aren't useful. Like plenty of people have hobbies, but and like I'm not going to downplay other people's hobbies. But like for example, I like astronomy, right? So I am very much an amateur. Well, I am an amateur astronomer, but I am very much amateur. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure,
okay. Like I look up.
That's hard to say.
Anyway,
amateur astronomy. Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's a lot of fun. Do it all. You know what I mean? Like when there's neat things out, I try to go look at them. Blah blah blah. But like the stuff, and I've learned a lot of interesting stuff, but I don't necessarily use it in my. You know, I can't use it to like. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't.
It's like simply just cause. Yeah.
Right. I do it because I enjoy it, which, you know, but I feel like some other hobbies, you know, like programming electronics, you can use it in different places. So it could be really, really stinking useful, I think. But yeah. But yeah, man. Well, I don't know. Hey, we're almost at about an hour. What do you
Yeah.
say? We call it for the day?
Call it for the
Oh, hey,
day.
you know what we do need to mention? We are not gonna be here next week. We're taking 2 weeks off.
Mhm.
Uh, so we will not be here next week, and we won't be here the week after, but we will be back at it. I think, is it gonna be April 7th maybe or something like that? We'll be back
Yeah.
at it. We'll
Yeah.
send
2
an
weeks.
email out. We'll note it on the channel
Yep.
and stuff like that for sure.
Yeah, and I wanna say it's cool how many people have been coming back, like, there's maybe 10 people on here who have been on more than 5 of these, and it's just, like, really fun. I mean, Jezza just commented. Yeah, it's like it's really fun to see a lot of these people coming back, and we're also figuring out what we want the show to be, so we have that type form uh, question you can submit, or just like in the chat or in YouTube, like please let us know like the direction of the show. We're kind of just enjoying hanging out and talking with people, but we'd like to grow the show into something that's like really fun and engaging for people, and we're totally open to ideas. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Um, so yeah, and if you want to learn more about Arduino and like dive into this whole world, you can definitely check out our membership program at programmingelectronics.com. I think you put the link in the description. But
Yeah.
basically, we have a program you can join, and we've got a bunch of different courses on programming Arduino. And we also have a private forum where you can ask questions. And so that's kind of like our gig, you know what I mean? Trying to help people
Yeah.
learn this stuff. So,
Yeah.
um,
I think Diomande asked if anyone was on here to help with a project. We don't necessarily do like specific project answering questions on this show, but there is the public forum here, or yeah, people will ask a lot of questions, and there's like some dialogue there. So, um, yeah, not trying to do a whole pitch, but like this is kind of like the whole exciting thing that we get to build is like helping people learn how to program. If you're like a total beginner and you want to just like get going, you can join the membership, and it's
yeah,
fun.
yeah, absolutely. And I think I'm pretty sure a lot of people on the show are already members, which
Right.
is
Yeah.
cool. You know what I mean? It's fun, a lot of fun. A lot of the stuff like I'm thinking about comes from our forum. You know what I mean? Just talking about the forum and stuff like that, seeing what people are up to. So
Yep. Yep.
cool.
Awesome.
Awesome. All right. Well,
Mike, I'll miss you. It'll be 2 weeks before I do this again with you.
yeah, I know, man. Cool. Well, everybody, uh, look forward to seeing y'all.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yep.
We'll see you
Take it
soon.
easy. Thanks, everybody. Bye.